All right, I'm going to show you something called quick table calculations, right? We're not going to go into the really complex portion of this particular subject, but I'm going to teach you the most basic things. Things like a running total, percentage of a total, or the difference over time. What else is there? There's quite a number of them. Let's have a look. Percent of total, rank, right? So we're not going to do some of this. We'll do moving average because that's always fun, right? So let's do a fresh one. I'm going to do new sheet, okay? And we're going to do order date. And neat little trick, if you use the right click mouse button instead of the left click, right, and you drag it with your right click, right, you end up with this menu. And the reason you have this menu is because if you don't do that, when you put it in, where's order date, right? If I put it in, it's automatically going to be year and then quarter. But sometimes I don't want to have to put it in and then right click and change it. And the reason for this is sometimes if your data sets are quite large and you drop it in straight away, it has to show all your data and then it has to like render and all that kind of stuff. So I prefer to use that little trick. So if you right click, drag, order date, and what I want to look at is maybe let's say by month, maybe by quarter, right? So we got the dates and we want to introduce some sort of value. So let's say sales. Sales is really easy. I'm going to grab sales, I'm going to put it in there, right? And now we can see the change over time. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show this as a bar chart, okay? So I'm going to click here, I'm going to go bar. So now we can see over time how much we're actually selling, right? And you can see every quarter we're selling a bit more. But I want to know what the running total is. Or I want to see the difference from one quarter to the next, right? Can I actually make this a little bit wider? No, right? So we can do it like this. Firstly, I'm going to introduce another one, right, of the same one, just so you can kind of see the difference. So I'm going to grab sales, and I'm going to drop it in again. So you can have sales as many times as you want, okay? So we're going to have it there twice. And to do a quick table calculation, I just right-click the one I want, right? By the way, this one refers to the bottom one, okay? And this one refers to this one, right? So if I right-click here, I go quick table calculation, and it's already there for me. So if I go running total, as you can see, it's changed now, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to add the labels. Again, there's a few ways you can do this. You can, again, drop sales into your label. So I can go sales, right? So I can have my values in there. Or you can actually use this one, right, which is little t. If I click on that, it'll apply on everything. The only reason I don't like doing this particular button is because now there's nothing in here for the label. And sometimes I want to edit this. So for example, if I have label in here, by the way, I'm pressing Control on my keyboard just to copy that over. I can change this format to, let's say, a dollar, right? So let's say currency. Where's currency, right? Maybe no decimals, and we want it in thousands, right? I can't do that if there's nothing in here, right? So that's the reason I like that, having that in there. Okay, let's get rid of that. Okay, so now we have the running total. So as you can see here, the running total is $2.9 million, but the sales for that quarter was 306,000, right? So that's one way to do a running total. You can also have this second one as whatever graphic you want. Now, if you look here, all right, you see that when I click on it, it changes. That's because, wait, hang on, where did I click? That's because this one is just this one. This one is just this. And the all is any formatting you do to the whole thing. So if I'm in all at the moment, right, and I go line, it'll make everything a line, okay? But if I'm just in this first one and I do line, it only affects the first one, right? So these are individual. Now the running total I do like to see as a line. So let's click on line, like so. So now we can see the line, right? And one thing a lot of people ask me is, how do I put the value just on the end, right? So you see this calculation we got right here. We're going to drop that into label. So if I grab that, drop it into label, you're going to have all the values. I'm not interested in all the values. I'm just interested in the last one. So if I click on label, I go line ends, and I don't want the one at the beginning. So label start of line, I'll turn that off. And now I've got those values at the very end. Okay, so now we have a running total here. Let's do another one. Let's do a percent of total. Okay, so let's add another sales up here. We'll just keep adding more, right? So now we've got a third one. And if I want percent of total, let's first add this as a label. So I'm going to drop this here as a label. By now, you're probably slowly getting used to this whole labels and colors thing, right? And I want to see this, what did I say? As a percentage of total, right? So I can, actually, I probably shouldn't have done that yet. What I do is, in here, again, quick table calculation, percent of total, right? And you'll notice that the axis is actually changed here. And what we want to see now is the labels. So if we click on this and drop it in labels, we can now see percentage, right? And the reason it's doing dollars is because I got to change the format from before. So I just put that in automatic, right? So now you can see it's in percentage, right? So quick table calculations, it's really nice because it's just a few clicks. You don't have to do any running total percentage. And yes, you can do pivot tables in Excel, but more often than not, I see people doing it incorrectly and they don't know they're doing it incorrectly. And it results in a lot of mistakes, or the Excel spreadsheet crashes. Here, at least a lot of it's just a click, automatic, it's in there, right? Let's do another one. I'm actually going to get rid of this second one just because we're running out of space, right? Let's get rid of this last one as well, right? Let's do another one, but this time let's do difference, okay? And the difference is going to be the difference between this one and this one, the difference between this one, and so on. And I want to see where it's growing or where it's declining. So if I right click on that, I can go quick table calculations again. Let's go difference. And as you can see, there is now a 0 in there because this is showing that it's actually dropped. And this is where our visualization comes in. Because now if I click on this and I drop it into color, right, you can actually see, oh, look at all these oranges, right? They're dropping. And let's make it worse. So if I click on this and I change this to, again, my favorite red black, right? You can see, oh man, what is happening here? What is happening on these quarters, right? And you can start the conversation. Like, why are we losing money? You know, what is going on? Is it, which region is it? And so on, right? And maybe one more. Let's get rid of this one again. Oh, actually, if you've already got one and you want to change it to something else, you can do that too. So let's just get rid of the color, right? If I right click it and I go quick table, I can just change it to a different one. I can change it to running total. I can change it to percent difference. And if I want to get rid of it entirely, I can just go clear. Okay. And the last one we want to do is rank. So if I do rank, actually the second last one, I'll do moving average after this. So go rank, and rank basically puts them in order from highest to lowest with some sort of label. So I can actually use this calculation for this label. Hopefully this isn't too advanced, but if I drop that into here, right, change the format back to that automatic one. Where is it? Automatic, right? It actually ranks them now. So you can see one, this is the highest, then this one, then this one. And the rank is really useful for a lot of kind of different calculations you may need to do, right? Because you want to order them. So if I go highest to lowest, right, then you'll be able to see it. Right. Very last one we're going to do is moving average, which is like one of my favorites. So I'm going to change this a little bit. I'm going to go to, let's say, day, right? And maybe not day, maybe week, right? And the thing is, if you go, what's the average of this, right? It's really hard to see that. So a moving average is really useful because then you can see kind of how it flows. And my guess it's going to do something like that, okay? So here's how we do it. If we get sales, drop it in again, and we're going to change this one to align. So we just click it. See if I click it, it jumps from whichever one I'm doing, right? So let's go line, okay? And we're going to go right click, quick table, moving average, right? And you can see that it's smoothed out. So if I go forward and backwards, see how it's smoothed out? So moving average, you can consider it as a smoothing function, right? For any of you signal processing people out there, right? So if I go here, I can actually change how smooth it is. So I just go edit table calculation, and I can change from here how smooth. So the more values I'm taking in, so the more moving average values I'm taking in, the smoother it gets. So this is the last 7 values it's averaging, and so on and so forth, right? And I can do that, right? And the smoother it gets. And then you can see a better picture of what's going on, right? So let's just say I'm doing a 15-day moving average, okay? I do that, I close this, so now I can see it. But if I want to overlay this on top, right, to see if it actually matches, I can just go right click, dual axis, right? And it overlays them one on top of the other. And very important, these axes, right, are primary and secondary axes. You want them to be synchronized. So you just right click one of them and you go synchronize axis. And as you can see, it's smooth, it's done a smoothing function, right, on your data. And again, we haven't even touched the keyboard yet. And moving average, oh, it's just so useful. And you can keep changing and keep tweaking it. So if you want it like, maybe we need a bit smoother, let's go 30, right? Even smoother then, okay? And what I like to do is like on this one, I would make this a little bit more opaque, okay? Make this line a little bit thicker, right? Because that's really what I'm interested in. And let's change this to red. So we go change the blue one to red, make the sails blue, and go okay, right? So I can really see what's happening here. It's hard to see it just on a bar chart, but now you can see it's, oh, actually we are climbing, okay? So that is a really quick table calculation, you know, lesson. So I hope you got a lot out of it. You will have heaps of applications for this. Hope you enjoyed and see you next time.